A confusing time. A number of years ago, as a young priest right out of seminary, I came here to Trinity Church to be a part of the clergy in this congregation, in curate, and for 2 years I did basically an internship here. And I was a young priest, if you count 30 years old being young. There was a tradition, certainly in that time period, that the clergy just out of seminary had responsibility for the youth group. And so I went to work with the youth leaders here, and we had a really great young youth group. Rogers Hall was at that time more of a gymnasium, and we had the volleyball net across the middle, and we had basketballs at both ends, and we had a racquetball court at one end, and every Thursday night the youth would gather here and have activities and play games together. And we bought a commercial grade flat top grill, and we cooked our own hamburgers, and we had a milkshake maker, and we basically took turns cooking throughout the course of the year, and we had a good, strong youth group. On Christmas, we set up a youth room downstairs for Christmas. And it was as glitzy and as bright and as gaudy as we could possibly make it. We had everything, lights and snowman and everything down there. And the youth came into the room, and we began our meeting there, and then after a short while we blindfolded them and led a trust walk up here into the sanctuary. And when we came into the sanctuary, the light was dimmer, and all of the Christian symbols of Christmas were here. We took off their blindfolds and washed their eyes, a symbolic kind of baptism, that they might see the Christmas in a new light, in a new way. You know, that went really well. It was a good idea. But afterwards, when we got together and talked about it, we really expected that they were going to talk about the symbols up here. And they didn't. They talked about the symbols in the youth group. They talked about the gaudy and the glitzy symbols of Christmas. But you know, they understood the Christian meanings. They talked about the lights that we had strong. And they said, you know, those are like the stars that led the first people to Jesus in the manger. And they talked about the snowman. And they said, you know, the snowman's a symbol of being like a child, having fun in life. It's a symbol of God's blessing of life. They talked about the Santa Claus, and that became St. Nicholas, of course. And they talked about all those glitzy kinds of things, but understood them in their Christian meaning. I thought that over the years I reflected on that was pretty darn good. That they were able to make that kind of a translation. Christmas Eve this year, I was out at St. Aidan's in Camino Island, and Drew Fossey, the vicar there, he talked about all of the secular aspects of Christmas and the Christian aspects of Christmas, and he said, you know, I like them all. The theme of his sermon was, bring them on, bring them all on. And I agree. Somehow, you and I have to cut through that confusion and discover that meaning of Christ in our lives. When we think about Christmas, about being confused from the very beginning, it really was a mixed up thing in the early church as well. You know, they didn't celebrate Christmas right away. The only Christian holiday they celebrated was Easter. And that still is the main celebration of our Christian life. Many of the early Christians said, we shouldn't celebrate this birthday of Christ. They began to think about, well, when was Jesus born? And they couldn't figure out exactly what that date might be. So instead of really setting this Christmas on December 25th as a date of the birth, actual birth of Christ, instead, it was a date that was very near a pagan holiday. And so they set up Christmas to combat that holiday, to go against that holiday. The earliest official record of Christmas celebration was in 354 AD. 3rd century theologian Origen argued that we should not keep the birthday of Jesus at all, since it wasn't too much like the pagan celebrations. Pagans would celebrate with feasts, often drinking quite a bit, celebrating the winter solstice. Does that sound at all familiar to you? They would dance, put up decorations over the doors, pay honor to the Roman gods. Traditions were incorporated into the beginnings of the Christmas celebration that were really very pagan in their essence. Over the next 1,000 years, Christmas observances followed the expanding Christian church as it went to Europe and to Scandinavia. And so we began to celebrate that midwinter feast known as Yule. An Anglican minister, Henry Bourne, in 1725 said, the way most people celebrate Christmas is a scandal. It's more like wickedness and more like the evil of pagan life. The English Puritans, in fact, they passed a law prohibiting the celebration of Christmas. Well, you know, I know that I'm talking to the choir here today, because I'm sure that none of you get confused in your Christmas celebration. I'm sure that all of you have a very clear understanding of what it is we celebrate on December 25th. And none of you make these kinds of mistakes. But it is a confusing thing, isn't it? Our gospel today doesn't really help us. Our gospel today is poetry, John's gospel. And it's difficult to connect what John says with the birth of Christ. He says, in the beginning was the Word. The word is capitalized, you'll notice in the text. So that means in the beginning was Jesus, the Word. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing was made. Isn't that a remarkable kind of thing to think about now? All things, you and me, all things came into being through Christ. Jesus, the one who is born into the world, is the one who brings our lives into being. We are born and blessed by God and created in the image of God. And God saves us through his love and blesses us. Isaiah, before Christ actually, was talking about how God had changed him. And Isaiah said, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My whole being shall exalt in God. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Our whole being, every piece of us, every bit of us, exalting in the wonder of God. John says, all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God. Aha! Children, that's you. You can laugh. Children, you can jump around. Children. play children of God. Poetry of John also reveals that Jesus the Christ is not just born only for the good times, but for the hard times as well. John says, Jesus is the light that shines into the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Jesus, the one who was born into our lives, who gives very life to us, is present in the hard times as well as the good. Present to us when we lose our jobs. Present to us when we get that diagnosis from the doctor that some terrible disease is a part of our experience or someone we love. Jesus, the one who comes into the darkness when difficult and hard things happen in our families. When life comes crashing in, Jesus, the one who is born. In the darkness, the light might shine. You know, throughout the Advent season, we've been urged to prepare for this time of Christmas. We've been urged to get ready by praying and by taking times of quiet and by maybe doing some things at this outreach to others that have less than what we have. All of the readings have taught us to get ready for this holy time. This holy time is very material, very much grounded into a real life experience. At the same time, we've been inundated by all the glitz. We've been inundated by all the secular influences of our Christmas experience. And we've been charged with the responsibility to see the holy in the glitz. We can find the truth of Jesus in the secular activities, symbols of Yule and winter solstice. We can hear the message of God and God's love on television specials, even if some of them don't have all that great a theology. We can find the peace of God while walking in the malls. We can be like those teenagers that see through the glitz to see the glory of God. Well, perhaps this tension that we feel at this time can really help us to look more deeply into our faith. Perhaps this tension can help us to ask questions about old stories. Perhaps it can, in some way, change our behavior to be more accurate reflection of God's love. And so, finally, I come to the most confusing moment of all. The fact that when we celebrate Christmas, we remember Easter. The fact that when we rejoice in the birth of Christ, we know that He is the Savior, the one who died on the cross for you and for me. We are baptized into Jesus Christ, made a new people through God's act of self-giving love. And we know that just as even when we are confused about Christ, we know that we are loved by God. And so, let me end this sermon with the ultimate confusion. Christ is risen. Christ